Moving slow. And we are live. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are so excited tonight. I tell you, we are ready for all of you out there. Every single last one of you, we're ready for you. We're bringing it. We're bringing the heat tonight. We are bringing it, talking about this book and talking about the authors of this book. I tell you, some of you have seen these beautiful ladies before, but tonight we're bumping it up. We're going to talk about some things that we haven't talked about before, and we want to share with you from the cup of our lives. Now, I'm not going to give too much input because I'm not a part of this incredible book, but you know me, I always have something to say somewhere along the line. So welcome to Bravo with Sheila. Ladies, let's chat. This broadcast, this platform was designed for women. Although the guys come on over, we have the bravettes in the house, bravettes in the chat, and now we have the brave bros. I gave the guys the name, the brave bros. That's right. We have them popping in, popping out, but we're excited tonight about what's getting ready to happen tonight. And so we welcome you. Remember to take that right hand, left hand, place it on your heart, your chest. I don't know where you need a bravo, but go ahead and give yourself a bravo, and you do not need permission. I said so. Bravo, bravo, bravo. Yeah, I needed a shoulder bravo tonight. Bravo, bravo. That's right. And so we're excited. We got these awesome, awesome women. I just love when they come to the platform or when I'm in their presence. We're going to talk about some things. Let's see. We already have a couple of people in the chat. Inay is here, faithful. Inay, she wants to salute you all. So let's put Inay's comment up. She said, hey. Inay is saying hello. She is definitely a bravette. She said, let me put it up. She knows. She said, bravette here. Bravette here. And she's always here. And we're just going to love tonight with people coming in and chatting, questions. And remember, we're just always here to be authentic, to empower, to uplift you. This is totally the no judgment zone. None, absolutely none. And so before we do that, you know what I got to do? I have to play an intro for you. Now, which one should I play tonight? What intro? Let me get this other sister on the screen. Nicole is here. Hello, Nicole. Let me play this for you guys and get into it. You know what? Being we're raising the bar, let's go ahead and play this intro. Yeah, we are here. Where's Nicole? I don't see her.
I don't see
She's
me
in the
either.
dark. Nicole, where are you? Where are you? Turn your light on, turn your camera on. Maybe your camera isn't turned on, Nicole.
Okay, I'm checking now.
All right, go ahead and
Just
check
running
it.
in the door. Okay.
You'll be fine. Take your time. No pressure. No pressure. We got a couple of people in the chat that wants to greet you, ladies. We got my girl, my sister from another mother, Kathy. Kathy says, hello, ladies. Real talk. All right. All right. And she says she loved the intro. Thank you, Kat. Listen, we are here. We're getting ready to get into it. Facebook, what's happening? How you guys doing? Bravo to you in Facebook land. We're so happy that you're here. We're going to have a great time tonight. We want to jump into it tonight. We are talking to these ladies, these authors. Let's put the banner. Let's roll the credit for what's happening tonight. And loving you is hurting me. And so let's roll that. Loving you is hurting me. I think so many women can ID with that. Listen, we've all fell in love, fell out of love, slipped in love and slipped out. Whatever we did, it was all about love. And lesson learned, we done learned so many things about this thing called LOVE, thinking we know all about it and what it is. I tell you, we done did some things in our lives dealing with the love area. I know I have. I raised my head. It's me, oh Lord, it's me. It's your daughter. Yes, yes, yes. I've had to repent. I had to forgive. I had to grow. I had to get crushed. But guess what? In all of that, I learned my lesson. Ooh, when you learn your lesson, you good. When you leave something broken, when you get jacked up, long as you leave with a jewel, it was not a waste of time. You can always pull something out of a negative situation. People think if it's negative, you got to walk away broke. No, if it's negative, you better make it your business to walk out with a jewel. Walk out with something to edify you. We have someone here, Monica Monroe. Let's put her comment up. She says, can't wait, listening in. Love the book. Welcome, Monica. So glad to have you here. Ladies, say hello to all of our guests.
Hey, guests.
Hello.
Yes, and Nicole, we waiting on you. It's okay. No pressure. We know you're going to pop on any second, and we know that God's going to work that out.
I'm working on it. I can hear you and I can see all you guys.
And hello, we can hear you, and that's a good thing. Oh, okay, Cecilia, this is your daughter?
Where's Cecilia?
Well, where'd she go?
Lord have mercy.
She said she got knocked off.
She got knocked off, which she got to sign back in. Sign back in. Whoever's talking with her, tell her to sign back in. Oh, I tell you, StreamYard is acting up tonight. Not tonight, StreamYard. Not tonight. I see Coco in 2 places.
Why?
I don't know. I see you in 2 places. When you signed out, did you sign out, and come back in? Or did you sign out and come back in? It didn't sign out.
I signed out. You want me to sign out?
No, I don't want you to do anything. Just stay right there. I want to wait for everybody. So Cecilia's trying to get back on.
She's waiting to be let in.
I don't see her.
Yeah, she's backstage again.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 10 spots on this. Ladies and gentlemen, as Sir Hale Speaks would say, the show has just taken a turn. All right, let's see if we can get Cecilia in. Coco, let me see if I remove you, if you are removed up on the top. If I remove you and you disappear, just come back in. Okay, you were on twice. Okay, so Nicole is here and we're looking for Cecilia, right? And there she is. Coco, it was you. Uh-oh. Somebody has something turned up. Whoever has their volume up, please turn it down. If you're watching it on Facebook or anything, please turn your volume down. The feedback. I know you guys just heard that, right? All right, let's try again. Okay, so it's everyone here now. Let's see.
Okay.
So everyone's here.
Yes.
All right. We good?
Awesome.
Where's Nicole?
I don't see Nicole.
Oh, no.
Nicole's going to have to drop back in. When we see her, if you guys see her and I don't, just let me know. I'll bring her up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 10 spots, so we have not. Okay, here's Nicole.
And my camera keeps dropping me off.
It's okay. There's Nicole. Nicole, if we can get a visual, we'll just keep moving. Just chat with us, Nicole, and possibly you'll pop on, okay?
Okay.
All right. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, drum roll. Here we go. I tell you, this is a great start. Who's sending me messages in the private chat? Listen, I'm here, been backstage. Got you. I got you. All right. Let's move. Let's get this thing going. Okay. Once again, welcome to Bravo with Sheila and my special guest tonight, the authors, these wonderful ladies of Loving You is Hurting Me. I said that like, yes, you got to say loving you is hurting me. You don't want to say it with anger because we got delivered and no more anger is in the house. Everybody's happy campers. Here we go. So let's talk about what happened to Cecilia again.
I'm backstage again. Backstage again.
I don't know why you keep going backstage. I'm not putting you back there. Well, let's jump into this. Let's start talking, ladies. How are you all doing tonight? Tell me, how are you doing tonight?
Well,
Everybody is well. Everyone's
Doing
good.
well, yes.
How's your Tuesday going?
Good.
Fantastic and over.
All right, all right, all right. So we're going to be going and flowing from your book. We're going to be chatting. We're going to be talking. Cecilia, I don't know what she's doing, but she back again. Like, ring around the Rosie. Ring around the Rosie. Here we go. It's all right, Cecilia. We're going to keep it moving. Coco looks like she's on 2 times again. I don't know why. Anyway, long as everyone is here, we're going to keep it moving. If something happens, just bring it to my attention. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, we want to jump into this book. We want to have real talk. We want to have authentic conversation. We want to have a conversation that could edify and impress you with how things have changed in their lives. They want to share about how they were moved from pain to power and from power to victory. That's right, to victory. And they are walking in victory. They're doing great things in their lives. Although they have come from a relationship from this place, they've done so many things since they've been in this place. But why not share it with women? Why not share their situation and their journey? Because anything we do in life, it's a journey. I don't care if it's a journey from here to the bodega, it's a journey. I don't care if it's here to around the corner or up the street. Anything can happen in that time of space. It's a journey. Did I lose someone? It looks like I lost someone. Maybe I didn't. All right. How you doing, niece Dawn?
I am good. I'm fantastic. I'm happy to see all my lovely ladies.
Yes, yes, yes. Why don't you greet each other? You guys haven't seen each other in a minute, so you can say hello to each other. And we're getting ready to get into this. And Nay says, hey, and Nay is, she the bravette, so she's used to, she know you guys. She's been here a few times. She's been here constantly when you're on this platform. And Nay, you better believe Nay is going to be here to support. She's a bravette. And whether you guys in the chat or on Facebook know it or not, tonight you are an official bravette. You're a bravette. And if you're a brother, you're a brave bro. Ooh, how did I think of that one? Can't leave the men out. So listen, let's get into this. I'm going to go according to the book. I'm going to go according to the order of the book. Tonight, we're talking about your experience, how you wrote this, what you went through, where you are now. But most of all, I want to do a little twist. The twist that I want to add tonight may not be in this book, but I want to take it up to another level as Pache. First of all, let me say good evening to my Tuesday night relationship bravette, Coach Pache. Coach Pache, for the last 3 months, we have been coming on Tuesday evenings, and this is Relationship Tuesday, and she's been rocking with her mom for the last 3 months. It's a blessing to have her, to bring her perspective, her expertise, and her life situations to the platform. I get a lot of rave reviews where people say, well, the coach is really good, and is that your daughter? And, that kind of thing. And so she's really good at what she does because she's lived through some stuff. And when we live through some stuff, ladies, we become good. We just become good at it. Amen. All right. So
Amen.
What I'm going to do now, Cecilia, is she back?
Go to Dawn. I mean,
No.
there she is.
No. I had to bring her on. Oh, you moved. You're in
I
a
have
different
to
spot.
answer my phone. My computer camera keeps dropping me off. That's what's happening. So now I need my light.
Smart. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Greet Dr. Elaine M. Sanders. Greet Theodora. Carter. Meet Dawn Brathwaite. Meet Cecilia Aiken, Nicole Doty, and Pache Felton. And who did I leave out? No one, right? I left me out. Meet me, Sheila. All right, let's jump into it. All right, we're going to start with Cecilia. Cecilia, you're the number one person in this book. You started out the book, Loving You is Hurting Me. And you said in this book, on this page, says what I thought love was. And I did highlight a couple of things that you wrote so that you could jump in. It all was very, very interesting. But I want you to key into something that I thought was very profound. And you said that being said, my idea of love was definitely tainted. You said it was tainted. You said you was confused. You said, I let other words, actions, and influences, whether positive or negative, shape my definition. For many years, I thought love was simply being included or accepted. Now, before we go any further, speak to that right there.
Well, like from a young child, I saw displays of affection and sometimes aggressiveness. Like,
Somebody turn their volume or something. Your cell phone is next to the computer or
let me
something.
see. Is that better?
And if it is, oh, I just
Okay.
saw Nicole.
So I can't hear. But what I learned is that when I was looking at other relationships, I was impacted, and I felt like if somebody included me in something, that they loved me, whether it was a good inclusion or a bad inclusion, and I was impacted on so many different levels. I watched people be abused and then hug up with a man. I watched people get beat up by their mates or aggressively fondled in public by their mates, and then act like, it was okay. And that's not okay. As I grew older, I got to realize that. But when I was younger, I was molded by that. I just figured, okay, I see other people doing that. I see that as a display of affection, or to my eyes at the point it was affection, and it wasn't. It's literally disrespectful. So
Yeah.
I had to learn from that.
So did that mindset kind of set you on a trail to bring certain types of relationships into your life because of that mindset?
It did. It actually did impact me. I mean, I wasn't very selective. I just fell easily involved. I can't say in love all the time, but like the first character that I spoke of in this book, it was a person I met that was a totally inappropriate relationship, because that person was 10 years my senior. He was a full adult and I was a child. Technically, I was 15, thought I was grown, and I was in a very bad space. I mean, he got me involved in all kinds of drugs, all kinds of situations, and he was, I believe now, bipolar. He used to attack me, like physically attack me out of the blue, and I would literally wake up fighting for my life in that relationship. And when things were nice, they were nice. He would buy me flowers, take me to dinner. I'm thinking, oh, this is nice. It felt good to have somebody bring you flowers, but then the next day I might go to work or school with a black eye,
So that physical abuse, emotional abuse, and mental abuse, all at the same time at a very young age.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I literally ran away from home to be with this person. Broke my mom's heart. I was 17 when I left. I was living in Canada with him, and I was fighting. I mean, literally, I seen what he was trying to do. Basically, he wanted me on a corner for him to get drug money, and that's when I was fighting for my life again to come back home. And
Wow.
His parents actually brought me back home.
I'm so sorry that you went through that. I'm so sorry that that was an experience for you at that age. If you don't mind me asking, was your dad in the house when you were young?
No, my father was in my household when we were young. My father passed away when I was 13.
Okay.
He was an alcoholic. He was also abusive, but he was in the place. He wasn't abusive to us, the children. He was abusive, and now I know that it was abusive to my mom. He was disrespectful. He was a player, so that in itself caused problems. And he used to get drunk and curse my mom out, and all kinds of stuff would happen in the home that I would see that we really shouldn't have seen growing up, but we saw it, and we come to think that that's acceptable, because I found that in my later age, I was seeking out men that were more like my father in one way or another, or I was attracted to people like it. Like, my father was West Indian. I married a West Indian man. I was into dance hall and all of those things, but they weren't the best things for me. But what happened with that relationship is I have 3 beautiful children, And I actually wound up marrying that man. Then I divorced him the next year because he couldn't get his stuff together.
Well, and we were saying off camera that even though we go through hard situations and bad situations, we always walk away with something, a jewel or something from it. And you have 3 beautiful children. And, at 15, what did you know? They say that we don't mature in our mental and our mind state until we're 25, right? Where, we still have these other things. And I know later, Dr. Elaine, as well as Pache, she has a degree, but Dr. Elaine can speak to that, how that frontal lobe and how things don't you're not mature. We think we're mature at a certain age. And with you, the learned behavior, that you were subjected to in your home. And they do say also that we marry our father, right? It says that women will go out and marry their fathers or look for people like their fathers. And so for you, I'm so glad that you got out of that situation, because you had a real rough ride at a very, very early age. You went through 3 different types, or maybe even more types of abuse, all at one time. So I give you a bravo for getting out of it. I give you a bravo for being here to be able to talk about it. But here's a question I want to know. Even though you were 15, what do you think Cecilia could have done different? What do you think, even after you left home and you was in that relationship, what do you think you could have been different? Maybe you were in fear. Maybe you couldn't leave. Tell me what you think you contributed to the relationship.
I feel that, I contributed my allowance of being treated that way. And I got to a point where at a very young age, I was addicted to drugs. So that was a catalyst to, me following him around like that. He had drugs. I wanted drugs. He had it. We were together. He would get high. I would get high. And that was toxic. It just was a very terrible start at a very young age. I was into things that no one should be involved in. I've been sober. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't partake in any kind of drug. And for several years. But that relationship right there really had me to the point where I tried to kill myself, because I didn't want to live like that anymore. And I mean, that incident happened before I even left my home and moved to Canada and then came back. It happened when I was around 16. I was not happy with myself, and I knew for myself that I should know better, because my mother taught me better. My father taught me better, even though he did what he did, but he was a man. You know how they say, like, you don't do what I do, you do what I say. So he can drink and tear up the town, but my father was a provider. He worked, and he cared for us, and he did spend time with us. I mean, I wrote in another book about my dad, my relationship with my dad, and he spent a lot of time with us. Sometimes he spent time with us and we still saw stuff that we shouldn't see. I learned a lot from that relationship, and that's how I became a fighter, not only dealing with my father, but dealing with my mother, watching her survive. So I was able to navigate through the relationships, the bad, the worst ones, the better ones, and then, others.
And here you are. And here you are. And here you are.
I have to thank Dr. Elaine Sanders and Pache for letting me write in this book, because it was an opportunity that I never dreamed of. Honestly, I got to get a lot of baggage off of me. It took a lot of weight off of my life. Like, really, it helped me a lot. So it was therapeutic.
That's what it's about. A sister pulling another sister up. So we're so glad to see you, and just keep doing what you're doing. We're going to swing back around to you a little later. Facebook, Tawanda Hamilton. Hello. Beatrice Moody. Hello. Thanks for the hearts. Can't see who else is on, but I thank you so much for being here. I love you so much. We're going to keep it moving. We're going to move to who I have adopted as my niece, and her name is Minister Dawn Brathwaite. Now we're going to talk a minute, Dawn, and we're going to talk about you. And there's so much to talk about. I want to swing back around so that at the end you can tell folks what you're doing now, all of you, how life is treating you now, what's going on, and so that people can see, you know, we can keep it moving no matter what, because we're made like that. And with Christ, listen, let's not talk about our boyfriend. Let's not talk about the Lord. Listen, because with him, we can break down barriers. So Dawn, I'm reading, it says, love never gives up, never loses faith, is always hopeful, and endures through every circumstance. 1 Corinthians 13:7. What I wanted to read about what you wrote, like I said, I could just read all of these chapters because all of you ladies wrote such powerful, powerful chapters. But because of time, you know, I got to slice it down a little bit. You said, I'm not exactly sure what I thought love was, because my definition of love changed so many times. Outside of God's love, here's what I highlighted. I never understood what real love meant. I know that no one can love us like God does, but I never attempted to use his love as a guide in my choices. I simply accepted whatever a person offered. Speak to that, my sister.
I did. I absolutely did. And epic fail, will never do it again. But like you said, you know, we live, we learn, we grow. I was one who I'm very optimistic. So I'm like, I go for the underdog, you know, because I know what it's like to be the last one picked or the least thought of in certain ways. That's how I saw myself, not knowing that other people didn't see me that way. But that's how I felt about me.
Okay.
So when it came to learning love, because people love you in different ways, you know. The way my parents love me is different from the way my son loves me, different the way my siblings love me, different the way my friends or, you know, whoever I'm involved with. So trying to encompass that into one bucket was really impossible. So it was difficult for me to kind of identify really what love was. I'm looking at actions instead of looking at the root of what causes you to love someone, because that's going to be the constant, you know, no matter what relationship you're in, the root of why you do what you do or why you feel what you feel is going to be the constant. The action is just how different people express it. So I'm looking
what? I told you, you the bomb dropper. Wait. You know, I don't let you drop bombs and keep going. Say that again.
I said the root of love is the same. You know, the principles are going to be the same, but how people express it is going to be completely different. So it looks different coming from different angles. And for me, it was hard to adjust because I was looking at it in one lens. Like everybody's going to love me the same. Knowing who God is in my life and no one can really love us like God loves us, it's almost like impossible. It's like somebody loving your child to the same magnitude that you do is just not a thing, you know. So trying to get someone to love me on that level is already setting myself up and them for failure. Now,
so you're saying your expectation was the same. You expected the same level, no matter who it was.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So I didn't know how to separate those differences. So it's displacing people and my expectations was in the wrong place. And I had a hard time trying to identify. I knew what I was feeling, I knew what I wanted, and I knew what I gave. I gave everyone the same, which was the best of me. I was giving everyone the same, which was what you needed that I could give you. I can give you everything, but the best of me that you needed from me is what I gave. And that's what I was looking for from other people, but still in this just boxed in, like everybody has to fill in this space, you know. Instead of taking the root of how God loves us and why he loves us and using that as a measure to how to kind of gauge, you know, how you should be loved, what you should look for in love, how you should accept that love. I wasn't doing that. I just let people get off with, you're never gonna love me like God loves me, so I'm just gonna take whatever level of love that you give, you know, and it's gonna be enough, and we're gonna work with it.
So in your relationships, so being that we're talking about loving you, you know, is hurting me. How did that affect you to the point as a woman the expectation of someone to love you a certain way when you're dealing, like you said, with different type of people. How much of yourself did you deny just to be loved?
I would say, honestly, in retrospect, as painful as it is to admit, I denied myself about 70 to 80% of myself just to be loved. Because I figured if we start here, everyone has a starting point, and we can grow on it. We can grow. But if your seed is rotten before it goes in the ground.
I said, look, don't. The girl with the bombs. I'm gonna hurt her right now. Go ahead. If the seed is rotten, go ahead.
Before it goes in the ground, when you put it in the ground, all it's gonna do is either produce ineffective, or even, lack of a better word, retarded fruit, unfruitful, or it's just never gonna grow because it has nothing. It has no substance. It has no content. It doesn't have what's needed for it to grow.
Right.
So I had to learn how to stop diminishing myself and learn to let people rise up to. I was struggling with my own value, and I didn't feel like I was worth 100% of someone's love. Like, no one's gonna ever give me 100% of love, so why look for it?
Okay, so that's attributed to low self-esteem.
Absolutely.
That's attributed to self-worth.
Absolutely.
Which so many women are in that space that you have already, God has brought you out of because you did the work.
Yes, ma'am.
So many. That's why we're talking today. That's why let's see what this comment, I like this comment. She said, whew. In other words, whew, what a word. It's a word. Yes. Thank you for that, Tamika. Go ahead.
The thing about low self-esteem and self-worth is people would have never known. My friends, when I said I struggle with low self-esteem, I remember one of my god sisters, she like cracked up to the point where tears was in her eyes. And she was like, when and where? Like, you struggle with what? You struggle with a lot of things, but that ain't one of them. And I'm like, actually, I do, because you don't know what's in the content of my heart and what shell I have to put on to come out and be okay.
Silence. Suffering in silence.
And I need to be able
the mask that we all have gotten caught up with the mask, right? And it becomes habitual because we have to play so many roles in a day, as a mother, as a corporate woman, as a doctor, as a lawyer, as it's an automatic thing. When we get up, we become in character, not even knowing we're actually going in character, right? And we get lost in that. And so when someone looks at you, you're smart, you're a poet, you're this, you're that. That's why I say, singing is what I do. Doing this Bravo is what I do. It's not who I am.
Right.
It's not who I am. So the separation and the boundary has to be known to others. And we have to know that I'm not all in just this one ball. Being a doctor is what I do. It's not who I am. And so when people look at you and you're doing certain things, oh no, you're broken, you're sad, you're depressed. And so for you said she had to cry after laughing, realizing you were a broken vessel, but you had become so good at it.
Yeah, because it wasn't just being real. Like I used to be, I'm a Brathwaite. We ain't no punks now. We can't be out here just acting any, like we got a reputation to uphold. You can't be falling apart. You got to suck it up and say it with your chest. When I get home in my room, then I might fall to pieces and be all a hot mess in the corner of my closet. But out in the world, I couldn't afford, because of the vulnerability that it makes you a target. Also, I realized that people, they know you in the way that they need you. And that's a problem with them not knowing who you are versus what you do.
So true. I wish I had a Hammond B3 right there. Dun, dun. Right. That's one of them. Ooh, that's one of those.
Hard lesson I learned.
So true. So Minister Dawn, exactly, in the relationships, I guess this is the reason, because I'm asking each one of the women here tonight, all of you authors, what part did you play in this loving you is hurting me situation in terms of what, because we have to call a spade a spade. I hear what you're saying, but we're saying that the man hurt us so much, loving you is hurting me. Facebook, I'm not forgetting you. Keisha, God bless you. Thank you for being here. All of you, thank you. And thanks for the hearts. What part did you play, or what would you have done different in the relationship? And I don't know if it's relationships or it doesn't matter. The number is, we're talking about what part as a woman did you play in this relationship where we're putting the burden of proof on the man that, yeah, I loved you and you hurt me. What could you have done different?
Oh, it's absolutely relationships with several S's. Because we're gonna tell the truth, we got to tell the whole truth.
Yeah.
But free yourself. It is what it is.
Free yourself.
I'm delivered. I am delivered. Praise the Lord. But the part that I played was the most important part, which was I gave access. People only treat you the way you allow you to. The way you allow them to treat you is how they treat you. I allowed my standards to be questioned. I allowed myself to believe that I was asking for more than what was normal and reasonable, which all I was asking for was basic stuff, and you couldn't even do the basics. But it's really a matter of access and understanding that you are the gatekeeper of your heart, of your life, of your spirit, and your mind. And don't be afraid. There's no fear in being alone. You lived alone before this person came into your life. And then being there or being absent is not going to change, anything. Don't be afraid to let go of what you don't want. Don't be afraid not to accept what you don't want. And that was my part. And I had to own that.
That's real.
Made it comfortable for them to be less than what I needed.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes so much sense because, as you know, I counsel a lot of women. And one of the main things that comes to me when we're in our sessions is, I don't want to be alone. I need a body next to me. And I mean, this is like things I hear, I need somebody. I can't be alone. There's a friend of mine who lost her husband. She was married for 30 years. And so she's only known him. First boyfriend, first husband, he's gone. She don't know how to date. She don't know how to be alone. She's like a fish out of water. Like, what do I do? And coming in this day and age with dating, that's a whole nother level for a woman who has been married 30 years and her mate is gone.
It's not even worth it. Just stay on my side.
Oh, hush, girl.
Not even worth it.
So I tell you, like my GYN doctor, my gynecologist told me, Sheila, sex is overrated. I was like, did you just say that? And you the GYN doctor?
Yeah. You're telling me you have expertise with you.
Yeah. And so there are many women. Oh, wait, Nicole.
Nicole was there.
Hey.
No, she wasn't on. There she is. She's a little dark. But we'll take it. We'll take it. If you can get a little light, if we can't, we're fine. But so many women say that. They say, I'm afraid to be alone. I don't know how to be alone, right? That was just one example. I have young girls who I need a man. And so the mentality and the understanding, and then you have to look at the history, what they've come from and what they're going through. And to hear this, sometimes it breaks my heart because they don't even know who they are. But they need another person to complete them. And it's not true. It's so not true. So I'm going to swing back around. You have something more you want to add before I go on to Miss Theodora?
Oh, just, and talking about them being alone and trying to be, being afraid to be alone. It's like, listen, get you a body pillow, get you, what are those, they have those blankets that feel like there's another person, or the way. This is therapy. Is real. Listen, do what you got to do to save you, to keep you whole, until you get whole. Because if you move in your aloneness, you're going to be looking for something to fill that gap. You're not going to. You're going to have a Band-Aid for the moment, but it's not going to cure what's ailing you. So, as funny as that is, I'm just like this. I'm trying to help y'all practice the principle. Invest in the body pillow. That's all.
That is something. All right, listen, you learn. My mother said you learn something new every day. The body pillow. All right now. All right for the body pillow.
Well, that'll help me out because I have about 12 of them, so I'm gonna find a body pillow and get rid of about 6 pillows. Just saying.
Coach, watch it, coach. Watch it, coach. Oh my God. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, listen, let's welcome Theodora to this topic, this wonderful platform. She's an author. She has so much. We're going to swing back around a little later and let you find out more about these wonderful women. But Theodora, listen, like I said, I had to say, okay, what do I say? What do I do? So this is part of, and I want you to just go for it. You said the final straw for me occurred on February 10th, when the man I was dating for 3 years ended the relationship. You said I was dating for 3 years and he ended the relationship. The man I'd let down my guard for and loved with all my heart knocked the wind out of me by ending our relationship with what I later found out was a lie. I couldn't believe it. I was vulnerable and let my guard down because he was everything that I had dreamed of in a mate. Talk to us.
So I guess for me, I was the girl who always had, the guard up. Like I was open. Like I love, right? So I love being in relationships. So, but I always had the guard up, right? Like I never was going to let anybody really close. And then I met this gentleman who literally checked off everything on my list, right? And so I let my guard down. Like I became completely vulnerable, gave my all, and I found out, I'm not going to say he was a bad guy. I'm going to say he did something that wasn't so great, right? So his judgment and his character was flawed. And it rocked me. I found out that he had been dating probably like 3 other people and started dating another one while we were together. And so it floored me. First, it floored me because he ended the relationship with a lie. So the reason I thought he ended the relationship was untrue. And then when I found out the truth, right, it then messed me up because I was like, how could you be so stupid, right? How could you're this intelligent, fierce woman. All these years, you kept that guard up, you let it down, and now look what happened, right?
Yeah.
So, but it also then began to, I think, just bring out a lot of other things that I probably wasn't dealing with because it's crazy, right? Like every relationship that I've been in, it's kind of like God was like, you know what? If I don't move these dudes out of her life, this poor girl gonna just keep trying to make it work, right? So it was like most of the times guys would end the relationship with me, right? And it would be like, oh, I'm not good enough, or you're too good for me, or you're, like there was always a reason. Mm-hmm. And I think because I love, right? I was just trying to make it work. I was settling, right? And I think God and that would remove them out of my life. But I think in that situation, it was the biggest blow, I think, eventually I realized it was ego. It was like, how could you let your guard down? Girl,
that's important. You said ego.
Right? Mm-hmm. Right? But the great thing about it was an experience I had to go through because it taught me that I had the ability to love someone with my whole heart. Right. Okay. And so the main thing after that was to make sure that I did not go back to the girl that had her guard up. Because I used to be the 30-day girl, right? The relationship ended, 30 days, maybe 15 days. I'm a mess. I'm packing up your stuff. I'm mailing it back, or I'm sitting it outside. You come get it, right? And this one lasted longer. It was because I really began to just look at myself. And the more I looked at myself and why I kept, because I was basically probably dating the same man, they just looked differently, right?
But you said, let me insert this as you saying that. You said I was living my best life, before you met him, you said not looking for anyone. When I met him, you said I was single, enjoying my own company, hanging out with my friends and waiting for God to send me a mate. But this is what I underlined. You said I had my list of 12 to 15 attributes that I wanted in a man. Okay, so now you got your order in. You said you said 12 to 15 attributes that I wanted in a man, waiting for God to send them, mail to order.
And you know what was funny is because I had taken a break. I was just doing me. And seriously, when I met this dude, like literally, I checked. I was like, wow. Like out of the blue, God sends this man everything on the list, right? And for 3 years, I'm gonna say, like the relationship wasn't horrible, right? I had to own some of what happened, right? Because I saw there were yellow flags, there were red flags, there was stuff
those red flags
I ignored, right? Because for me, this was my ideal mate. Right?
Because you had your 12 to 15
exactly,
attributes. And you
I had my
how many boxes did he miss? He checked all the boxes?
He checked all the boxes.
Oh no, see that you should have known then that he couldn't have had all those boxes checked.
Exactly. That should have been the first red flag, right?
Listen, he said right division.
It was a learning experience. I mean, I would say from that point forward, it really, and I remember one of my girlfriends got upset because I was like, I just need to figure out what's wrong with me. And she was like, there's nothing wrong with you. You're a great person. And I said, I'm not saying that I'm not a good person. I'm not taking anything away from who I am. But I do need to figure out why I keep ending up in these same situations, right? Where, it's just not the right guy, but I'm hanging on. I'm staying there, right? So I had to really do the work, right? So I went into therapy, I went into coaching. I started, the funny thing is I always show up for people, right? No matter what. Mm-hmm. And so I remember my god sister was giving her annual conference that she does. And I really didn't want to go. And you could tell by because I showed up in some Timbs, some jeans. But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna show up for my sister. I'm gonna sit here at this table. I'm gonna act like I want to be here, but inside I really wanted to be home, curled up in my bed. And Dr. Elaine spoke.
Dr. Elaine, once again, Dr. Elaine spoke. Dr. Elaine spoke. And what happened to you, sis?
And I was like, wow, right? Like I heard her story, right? And I was like, wow. Mm-hmm. And then I started stalking her in Pache. Right.
You started stalking them.
It was just like a connection, right? Yeah. And it was just like something I didn't even probably know what it was that I needed.
Your steps were ordered.
But there was something that I received that day that kind of also helped me in my healing journey. Right.
All you need is one trigger.
I was invited to be a co-author for the book. Right.
Yes.
But I will honestly say, everything happens for a reason. Like my favorite scripture is Romans 8:28. Right? Like everything happens for a reason. Right. And truly God's man's rejection is God's protection.
Yeah.
Amen. Right? That's right.
And so it was really a journey. I believe God, like one of my girlfriends was like, oh, you still think God sent him? And I was like, yeah.
You got to keep hope alive. You got to have faith.
Say it was the enemy because God sent him to show me something about myself.
Well, there we go. Back to what we said earlier. Right? You always get something out of something that may turn out sour. No woman and no one should walk away from any relationship without a jewel for themselves. Whatever it may be, small, it may be large. It does. Who's counting? Who's weighing? As long as somebody don't take your whole soul and you walk away and you just destroy. It's bad enough that the relationship turned left. But then you have to sit and say, okay, but what did I get? And that's why I was asking, what could you have done different and what did you get from it? And you've already answered that, but you walked away with a jewel. Let me just say hello to some folks on Facebook. Esther Andrea, she is one of my spiritual daughters and a pastor in Curacao. I just left her. Hello, Curacao. Say hello to Curacao, guys.
Hello.
Hi, Esther. She's on Facebook. She's sending hearts. But listen, that is so powerful. Your steps are ordered, right? And you happen to be in a room. Now, let's take a little pause before I get to the other ladies. Now, I want to know the title of this book. Thanks for the hearts, you guys. I love it. Who thought of the name of this book? Now, I didn't introduce Dr. Elaine and Coach Pache like we usually do in the beginning of, because we have so many technical problems going on. And so, and let's just wait, park for a minute, hold that thought for a second. Let's say hello to Alexis and Monica and Tamika. We already said hello. And this comment here, let's show it. Good evening. Oh, what happened to it? Do you see it?
I saw it. Tiffany said we were having a good conversation, a good discussion. Yes.
Yes. Thank you, Tiffany Mayo. And so let's just park a minute so the viewers and those that will see this later talk about how this book came about. Let's talk about what prompted you to get this book. If those of you that don't know, Dr. Elaine and Coach Pache, this is book number, I don't know what online this was, book number 2?
3.
Book number 3. This is book number 3 because it's 6 books, right?
I think it's 3 or yeah.
I think it's 3 as well.
Okay, so it's like maybe 6 books. They're coming out with another book, and what they've done is they've gotten women, some who already desired to write or were writers already, but those that thought they couldn't write, those that had a story to tell, and they encouraged them and they prompted them and they taught them and they encouraged, and thus began the beginning of all these wonderful books. This just happens to be one of the book. Loving You is Hurting Me. Off the top of my head, I can't think of all the books. I'll leave that to Dr. Elaine and Pache for them to riff it off. But they have an organization where they work together. They do a lot of community work, so many different things. And your website is Harlem Forever, Harlem Girls Forever.
The number 4 ever.
The number 4. Okay, Harlem Girls, the number 4 ever. And if you want to know more about .com, if you want to know more about it, you guys can type it so the people can see it. Right? I don't have a moderator yet. They're coming. And I can't just multitask all of these things, the comments and everything. But I just wanted to pause for a moment just to share with the audience who are watching on Facebook and who are watching right now on YouTube how this book came about and how these beautiful ladies came into the village, I'll say, to write these books. You have so many things that you're getting ready to do, but we can add that at the end of the broadcast. Monica says invest in a rose. I don't know what she means, but maybe you guys, what does that mean? I don't know what that means. What does that mean? Ladies, invest. She says, hold on. She says, is that something when we were talking about the pillow?
I asked Monica. I don't know.
Maybe she talking about something about when we were talking about the pillow. I think that comment popped up like during that part of the convo.
Or maybe something else.
Beatrice Moody says on Facebook, it's all right to be alone. Love self and keep moving. Nate Ferguson is on. Tamika Quick is LOLO, so I guess we were right about that. Did my sound leave? Can you still hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay, sounds like something kind of dropped off. But all right, so let's keep it moving. Let's talk to Nicole. There she is. She made it on. Hi, Nicole. How are you?
I'm well.
You're well?
Hi.
So good to see you, sweetie. So good to see you. I was reading again, looking at the stories again, and I said, let's get into Nicole. Nicole says, as a young girl, I thought love was when someone provided for you and made you feel protected. She said, my mother was a provider and protector, and I loved her. My biological father wasn't around during much of my early childhood, ages 1 to 11. I always had an empty space in my heart and never knew why. Now I know it was from not having a father in my life and not experiencing his love and protection. Yeah, we did a show recently. What was the name of that show, Pache? This Fatherless Daughter Syndrome. Ooh, what a show. It was very emotional, talking about what happens to us when the male figure is not in our lives. We as women go on so many different journeys, twists and turns, when we don't have that male figure in our lives. You said, I am my father's firstborn child. I knew he loved me because he always told me, and I felt it whenever he was around. But he was young and had his own issues and was a constant in my life. At times, I would wait downstairs for hours, dressed and ready for him to pick me up. And when it got late, my mom would make me go upstairs, which means he was a no-show. Let's talk about how that affected you, which spilled over into your relationships.
I was always looking for love in all. Sorry, Brody. Relax, Papa. I'm sorry, guys.
That's okay.
Having that empty space early in life, I think I started early looking for love in all the wrong places. Mm-hmm. Looking for that fatherly love through men. Really,
that's your dog? Is that
that's
your
dog?
That's
my dog. Yeah.
Okay.
Brody, relax. I'm sorry.
They want attention all the time.
Yeah.
Go ahead. It's okay.
The good thing about that, stepfather came into my life around when I was about 12. That's when I started to. I can't even say that. I'm sorry. It's a little difficult. I still deal with,
I'm sure.
I lost my biological father at 18.
Okay.
And although he wasn't really in my life, I always had that love. It was a different love I had for him. It's like I craved for his love. Mm-hmm. And I think, when boys started liking me at an early age, I'm say 12, 13 years old, I think I took that.
It was filling the void.
It was filling the void.
It was filling the void that
right.
wasn't there. It was a male. It was and so it was. I love you, or you're beautiful, or you're You let me help you along a little bit. You said I was in my early teens when I started dating. I was a very attractive young girl with great personality, you say, a people person. I got along with everybody. You was light-skinned, high yellow, and skinny with a big butt. I had the body of an 18-year-old, which I guess didn't help as a young girl with these men preying. They preying on you, right? A lot of boys were attracted to me. Being young, dumb, and vulnerable, I wasn't mentally ready to date. The first man I fell in love with was a couple of years older than me. I didn't know his true age until we dated for a year. And by then it was too late. He happened to be a street pharmacist. And so.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think I was an easy target for him. And I said in the book a couple of years older, but he was actually a few years older.
Okay.
He didn't look a few years older. He looked very young. Actually, he looked younger than me.
Okay.
He was also, I'm not going to say a con artist, but I think he was trying to fulfill something in his life also. Mm-hmm. He didn't have that love from his mom. Like I didn't have the love from my dad.
Okay.
The opposite. So
there's the connection.
Mm-hmm. And feeling love from him made me feel like I was filling that empty space that I didn't have from my biological father. Mm-hmm. And at the time, my mom was dating my stepdad. And I used to watch them go out on dates, and my mom just looked so happy and feel so, it was like, wow, that's what love is. So I was trying to get that with my teenage boyfriend at the time.
Absolutely. It was a rough time.
It started out well, but didn't end up good.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
a rough time for you.
It was.
The absence of a father can send us on so many different roads. The absence
Mhm.
of that male affection. We always say our dad is supposed to
Mhm.
take us on our first date.
Right.
Our dad is supposed to show us how a man is supposed to treat us. Our dad is supposed to give us those jewels. We are supposed to be our dad's princess, right?
Right.
And so at a
Mhm.
young age, looking for love because of your connection with your dad, it threw you off. It just threw you off. It threw you off balance. And then the main thing you wanted was love. And so, as you say, you were pretty, and they were stalking you. They were preying on you.
And it was
And
usually mostly older men.
I'm sure.
Absolutely. Because
Yeah.
none of the guys my age really paid me any mind. It was always the older ones that did.
But you
You
were
know, they,
attracting that subconsciously, probably attracting the older men because of the fatherly figure that you needed. Sometimes we don't realize what we attract, right? Sometimes we attract what we're looking for because of what's the word? You guys can jump in. We attract what we're looking for.
mm,
And so that's why
mhm,
the older men were attracted to you and you
mhm.
gravitated to it.
I just wanted to be
You just
loved. And
wanted
I,
to
I
be
had a lot
loved.
of love from my mom and my aunties and, you know, but I didn't have that love that I really wanted from
Mm-hmm.
my dad. And when he was around, oh, I was on cloud nine. I was the happiest little girl you could ever see, and him not showing up that specific day that I wrote about, I always remember that day. And even when he did finally show up, maybe a week or two later,
Mm-hmm.
it didn't mean anything to me that he didn't show up that day. My
Right.
mother was still furious. She wanted to take his head off, but I
Yeah.
was just so excited and so happy that he finally showed up. I
Yeah.
I just let it go, like he never stood me up, like it never happened. He didn't bring it up, I didn't bring it up, and we just went on with the day.
No, you wanted to keep the moment pure and sweet, and you didn't want to upset anything. You just wanted to
Absolutely.
enjoy the time that you had with him. And
Hmm.
so your relationships, and then you talked about being in. You said he was a street pharmacist in the 80s, and
Hmm.
you moved to Yonkers, and you were involved now with hip hop artists and that lifestyle music, and you were part of DMX because he knew him, and so now you're exposed to a whole nother level of
Hmm.
of, of men, a whole nother level of
Hmm.
entertainment, right?
Right.
Which probably was like a magnet for you, because when we look for love, I tell you that love thing, that's why the
Mm-hmm.
only love, the God space, many people don't understand when they're searching and looking. It's the God hole that needs to be filled. It's a God hole inside of us. If I can remember, and you guys can remember when you didn't know the Lord, right? And you were doing your thing, and that emptiness, I don't care how much money you had, I don't care where you went, what you had. It's that emptiness. And people are like, you
Mm-hmm.
got everything. You don't need nothing. No, it's that God hole that's
Hmm.
empty. That's why it's people go and find that spiritual space, whether they fill it with Buddha, whether they feel it as a Muslim, whether they feel it. Listen, it's the God space, right? And so as you continued on with your relationships, how did you ever sit with yourself and realize that what part did you play in this whole scenario? Loving you is hurting me, because that's what we're talking about today as a woman, because we have to own. I know for me, all the bad things that I've had in relationship, I had to own my part,
Right.
because when you don't own it, you're just
Hmm.
going to repeat the
Hmm.
cycle. You're going to excuse yourself from the relationship and put all the weight and the burden of proof on the male, like it was all him, when we have a voice.
Hmm.
And even though, tell me a little bit about
Yeah,
that.
I don't. I know earlier you spoke to one of the ladies. I don't remember which one it was, but I don't. I really don't blame the men. With me, I blame myself for not loving myself first.
Mm-hmm.
Um, not taking care of me first, putting me first. Period.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Sometimes I still struggle with that today, putting me
Mm-hmm.
first. You know, uh, so I don't blame the men. in my life. You know, I feel like everything I went through, I had to go through.
Mhm.
And I'm
Mhm.
learning every day to love myself more and more
Mhm.
every day.
Mhm.
Between my kids, my family, my job, everyone, I try to make everyone happy, make sure their needs, everyone is taken care of before I take care of me. And I know that that's a problem that I'm working on. So
Yeah.
I don't blame them. And I think when you love yourself first and you put yourself first, then people will love you the way you need to
Yeah.
be loved. If you're
The
not loving yourself the
acceptance.
way you need to be loved, no one else is going to do that.
Right.
And it is a struggle.
Yeah.
It's a struggle. And I don't think it's fair to blame the men, you know, because
Yeah.
a
I
lot of our men
understand.
are very damaged. They are
Mhm.
damaged. You know, just like we come from broke, you know, that missing love I had that I didn't get from my biological father that I
Mhm.
needed and wanted, even though I know he loved me, but he didn't
Mhm.
love me the way I needed to be loved at the time.
Yeah.
But I forgive him. And I know he did only what he knew best to do,
Right.
you
Right.
know, and in the book I said he had his own issues. So
Yes.
I don't really my father was 15 when he had me. He didn't
Mm.
know how to be a father.
Right.
You know, he didn't
True.
know how to love his daughter. He didn't know
Yeah.
how much I needed him at that time, you
Yeah.
know. And so I don't blame my dad. You know, I said this is what it was. This is what he did the best he can do.
Yeah.
You know, and I even with my mom, you know, it's different with mothers because I'm a mom now myself, so I know, you know, I'm her only daughter, so she don't look at it that way. But you know, I've been forgave my biological father a long time ago. My dad
Yeah.
now is my stepdad. He's been in my life since I was 12 years old, and that's my dad. And that man showed me how a man is supposed to love a woman. The way he loved my mother, the way he
And
took
that's
care of
good. That's
our
good.
family. And even to this day, my mom and dad are divorced, and he still to this day is there for my family, my children. That's their pop, no matter what. And I thank God for that. You know, I
Yeah.
see things differently in a different light. And I know watching how my dad loved my mom, my stepdad, and the way
Mhm.
he, you know, treated her and the things he did with her and for
Mhm.
her. And still to this day, they're best friends. I know
Yeah.
that that's love. When you can divorce somebody and you can still go to lunch twice a week and you can still
Yes.
go to parties together, but you can go home in your separate homes and still,
Right.
you know, that's real love.
That's
You
love
know,
and that's friendship.
absolutely.
Friendship.
Absolutely. So I
Yes.
see that and I know that I might not never ever have that. And
No,
I'm
you
okay.
will. You're going to speak it. Yes, you will. Yes, you will. Because what you're looking for is looking for you. Just remember that.
Mhm. You
What
know
you're
what
looking
I
for is
do?
looking for you.
I do want to say because I wanted love so much all through my teenage, my 20s, my 30s, and even now in my 40s. Like I craved for that type of love because I seen it and I said, oh, that's just beautiful. You know, that's always what I wanted. I wanted it.
Yeah.
So my mother said, why you want that? So you don't want no man. You stay the way you are. She said, this is the best I ever been. And I'm like, you say that, mommy, because you
She
already
lived it. She
you
had it.
did. You
Right.
had it, you know,
Right.
and
Right.
you know, I'm not saying I've never been I've been happy before. I've been in
But I
love and of course,
understand what you mean. I
yeah,
do.
it just didn't work out, you
I
know,
do.
and I don't know. I think I still have that. Someone said there, you said, what did she say? And you caught me. I couldn't get in when you said I wanted to jump in so fast.
Mm.
You like to be in love. Who said that? They love to be in love to be in a
I
relationship.
think that was Theodora said that.
Yes, yes, that's me.
Yeah.
That's me. I love to be in a relationship. I love, you know, I have a
It's
man.
a
And
beautiful
yeah,
thing.
it is a
When it's
beautiful
good,
thing,
it's
but when you're
good.
not being loved back
When it's
the
good,
same way,
Nicole.
that's where the problem holds.
Yeah,
You
but
know,
guess
and I
what?
love
God has
hard.
something for you.
I
We
love
can
really
tell that
hard.
you love hard, and
I
it's
do.
okay. It's
I do.
okay. And what I'm telling you, God's going to bless you. And I give you a bravo for the acceptance. Let's give a bravo.
Yes.
Bravo for acceptance, for growth, you know, for understanding, for realizing that. But as you say, you're still working on you
I
and
am.
just work a little bit harder to stop putting yourself on the back burner and putting everybody in front of you. How about that? How about inching you up front a little bit? How about, you know, making yourself first, but all the way around? right?
All the way around.
All the way around.
Right.
Make yourself first. Sometimes you have to be a little selfish, right? Sometimes you have to be selfish for yourself, right? All right. So let's see what some folks are saying in Facebook. Keisha says, I still crave that father love and I'm still in my 40s. However, I've accepted the fact that God is my father and that's enough for me, I guess. That's what Keisha says. And Keisha is married. She has a wonderful husband. Oh, we got some brave bros over here on Facebook. Hello, Kenneth Torres. He's here with the Bravettes tonight. And we got Prophet. Do we have Prophet here? Oh, Psalmist. We have the Psalmist, this wonderful, wonderful Psalmist. I don't know. I always say his name wrong, but I think it's Fael and his wonderful wife. He says, blessings, Sheila. Blessings to all of you. We got Curacao in the house. All right. Got my island people in the house. And thank you for being here. So yes. So let's move to Miss Coach Pache. You ready, Coach?
I'm ready.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Let me tell you what. Let me tell you what I pulled out from you. Thanks for the hearts, you guys. Thank you so much. How can a four-letter, what? Let me tell you what your mama picked out for you. How can a four-letter word that's supposed to be your utopia be so devastating? You said the word love, well, the word love can. You said, I'm living proof that love can turn your life upside down. When you are nurtured by single women without a father or a male figure to show and teach you acceptable behavior from boys and men, it can lead you to a journey of lost, intertwining souls engaged in a whirl in a wind of agony, misfortune, disappointment, mistrust, depression, anxiety. That's a lot. It'll lead you down all those roads, huh, Coach Pache?
Lord, it will, until the Lord comes to get it together.
Talk to us about that moment, that time, and that experience with your relationships and loving you is hurting me, because that's the book we're talking about today. I'm holding it up. Let's talk a little bit about that, Pache. I'm not your mom right now. I'm the host.
So but you just called me your daughter, so okay. Anyway.
I did just call you my daughter, didn't I? It just slipped out. All right. Go ahead, Coach.
I think it goes back to, okay, for those that don't know my story, my father was murdered the day I was born, right? So I've always had that hole that needed to be filled. And then growing up in an environment where your family is dominated by women, you don't really get to experience the male kind of love or how a male is supposed to treat you, because there's no one there to model it. Then on top of that, growing up in, I would say, the hood or underserved communities in the projects, you see a certain kind of male figure. And again, like Nicole was saying, they're hurting as well. So gravitating to what was in the area, that's where I would say my perception got distorted.
Okay.
And then you see older women or older people growing up in that culture, and they're buying them things. They have the cars, they have the nice this, and they're being taken care of. So in my mind, at some point, it came to, okay, as long as he's taking care of me, he loves me. Which is not true. Because some men will take care of you and think that's a license to do whatever it is they want to do.
Okay.
Just what they are providing. So for me, growing up in that environment, let me back up, growing up without a father and growing up in that environment, I had no role model to look to let me know what am I supposed to be looking for in a man. Like you said, your father was supposed to take you to your first dance. Never happened. Your father was supposed to look for in a man. Never happened. So for me, I started out with the deficit, if that makes sense.
Say it again. You broke up.
I said, for me, I started out with a deficit.
Okay.
Of not having that male figure.
Mhm.
And there's nothing wrong with coming from a family of strong women. However, you don't get to learn the other aspect of life
Mhm.
coming from a male's perspective
Mhm.
Yeah.
and what you're supposed to look for and how you're supposed to be treated.
Mhm.
So that's where my turmoil started, I would say.
Yeah, you said something the other day to me. You said to me something related to when you came out the womb, you came out into trouble. You
Yeah,
said it
what I said is when I came into this world, I came out fighting.
when you came into this world, you came
And
out
God,
fighting. That was so profound when you said that to me, because I had to stop, pause, and reflect on that. So, your birth, as you say, you came out fighting because you didn't even, you lost everything on that day, right? And it's a remembrance every birthday
right.
that was the day your dad was murdered. And so you're saying like all of these things emotionally, like I think Dawn was saying, people couldn't see all of that. You were suffering in silence.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And like I said, when you grow up in a culture where everybody's doing the same thing, everybody's hanging out and drinking, you go with the flow. But when you get by yourself, that's when it hits you. Like Dawn said, you go in the closet and then you go in your own space, but nobody knows.
Nobody
Because
knows.
when you go out the next day, you got to mask up.
I think we all know about that moment when we go home and the lights are off, the job is over, and we go into our space. That's when the real deal hits us, the sadness, the emptiness, the suffering in silence. But then we go to sleep, wake up, and as women, we're forced to bounce right back. Put our clothes on,
Right.
go to work, go to school, take care of the kids. And so we get lost in that. Go ahead, Pache. And hello, Denise Singleton. God bless you. Thanks for being here. Crystal Ann Hale, I love you. Thank you for being here. Carry on, Pache.
So I had to get to a point within myself where I had to learn to love myself and take the hard look in the mirror and figure out, where did I bury me?
Where did you
bury myself?
Where did you bury you? Yeah.
Bury me.
Yeah. That's a bomb right there. That you just dropped. That's a bomb. Drop the mic, bars, whatever, all of that stuff. Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. That was like a bomb right there. Absolutely. We do it all the time. So even in the relationships, because we're talking about loving you is hurting. Can you see it? Loving you is hurting me. What part did you play in these relationships? Because again, we can't put the total burden of proof on the male, right? When there's two people, we have to separate. I heard you say, we laughed at you a little while ago. You said you only had 1%. So 99% was him. So you only owning up to 1%. Now that's an off ratio.
But maybe 2.
Oh,
maybe
you're gonna give it 2.
No, you're not right.
Now you're not right talking about you contributed only 2% to the
Live
relationship.
your truth, Pastor. Live your truth.
Listen.
Thank you.
No. What could you have done different? Putting all the weight on the brother, even though he might have been a dirty lowdown, like we already said, they might have been, but then maybe they just had some flaws. Maybe they just had some things that they needed worked out, and you didn't have the patience to deal with it. Maybe there were some other factors of why that person left, and you carried it as loving you is hurting me. What about him loving you is hurting him?
Wow.
What about that side of the coin?
No, honestly, the part I played in it was not loving myself, not knowing my self-worth, not valuing myself, settling. So like I said, after I had to go back to the graveyard and get me up, I had to figure out what purpose was the pain serving.
Good observation.
That's a bomb.
That's a bomb. Where my mic? Wait, let me drop the mic. Boom. Drop the mic.
So I really just had to take that hard look that I can say that wasn't easy. And if we're all being truthful, it's really hard to look at yourself to see your flaws.
Yeah.
And when I did that, I was like, oh, wow, you that jacked up? Oh, okay. All right, Lord, speak to me.
That's
No.
cool.
2%, right?
And you yeah, exactly.
My 2%, yes.
The 2%. No,
That
and
2%
it's even
was a
harder. It's even harder when we are women of a certain stature. We have good jobs, we're smart, we look right, we look like we got it all together. Right? But we don't want to be exposed. We don't want to pull that sheet down. We just want to play the part, look the part,
Right.
because being vulnerable and exposing yourself, the first thing people say is, oh, really? Now they're judging you. You? Like you? Why can't it be me? That have a little situation.
But what I found out was my healing was in my brokenness. So I had to do the work. And as I got older, and I even writing it and stepping back, even now looking at the situation, it's like, okay, he was all of what, 25, 26? He didn't know any better. And his perspective of love and what he saw and what his definition of love was doing and buying. So in turn, that's what he did.
Yeah.
So when he like, I love you, I'll be like, boy, no, you don't. You don't even know the meaning of that. He really get upset. And I'm like, what you getting upset about? Until God had to show me, no, that's his definition.
Right.
So he really does. He loved me in his way, but his way is not acceptable to me.
Right. Right. That accountability is no joke. Being accountable for what we do or what we don't do, it rests on whether we'll ever be free in ourselves or we'll just keep wearing the mask. That smack in the face where you point the finger at you, turn it this way, because you know what I say, when nothing changes, nothing changes.
Yeah.
When
So
nothing changes.
I had to own my part in it. The part that I played, again, I think of a couple of them, everybody pretty much said, allowing the person, I gave him permission to treat me this way.
Yeah.
I allowed it.
Yeah. You allowed it. You own up. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Absolutely.
Yeah, I owned it. But I tell you, ooh, baby, right now.
You said, ooh, baby, right now? She said, ladies, Coach Pache said, ooh, baby, right now. Okay, so she must really mean that the way.
Oh, yeah, ooh, baby, right now. Because that man upstairs, that father, even though I didn't have a biological father.
Yeah.
Like you were saying, God, ooh, baby. I have no words.
Ooh, baby. When saying that, Keisha Burney says it's like us and God. He cannot change us and work through if we're not showing and giving him our true self. So that's your ooh, baby. Ooh, yes,
God has literally fill that void. Like you said, there's no one person that can fill that void.
No.
Yeah.
So
that's how,
because that's the God space. So no human can fill it.
Right. So now I'm comfortable with being by myself. I'm comfortable going out by myself.
Yeah. You fell in love with yourself. You love you.
So yeah. So the scary part is, okay, when he do send somebody, how I'm gonna deal with this? Because I'm so comfortable right now that
so do you ladies, as she say that, do you ladies feel that, that because, I don't know, are any of you married now? Have you any of you in a relationship married? So when you say you want love and when God sends that person, what you gonna do with it? If you
I've been praying about
what you gonna do?
I've been praying that he gives me the wisdom to navigate that relationship the right way, because I'm so content by myself.
And your patience. You need a dose of patience.
I have some.
Oh, so you have some.
2%.
2%. I have more than 2% of patience. I have 3. And he's not done with me yet. He's not done with me.
He's not done. He's still working on you. He's still working.
I'm praying about it. So when he sends him,
yes,
everything will be copacetic.
So
it's gonna be hard because we so used to these ways of being by ourselves,
right?
And then someone comes in, no matter how much we, feel that what's that word that girls, ooh, we feel that.
Yeah.
We're not in our personal space. It's going to be a problem. And I think we all know that it's going to be adjustments. You're going to have to let go. 2% going to have to turn into 25%.
Right.
Mhm.
And
Right.
that, it's going to be hard.
It is
and I
it
know
is an adjustment.
Yeah,
have my mom,
but I think
have a few aunts
I
that
think
think it's
you'll
okay.
know. I think you'll know when it's God sent. Like I think we have done the work on ourselves, right?
Yeah.
That it will allow us to see
Okay.
and know.
Do you
Because
think that
hopefully,
So what about
work
your
is done?
checklist?
find what that person looks like, right?
What
Like,
about your
in a
checklist,
realistic
Dora?
way. What you say, Nicole?
No, what about that checklist, that 12 to 14 checklist?
You know what?
that you have?
I don't use the checklist anymore. That's
Well, you
only
gotta
I
still
did
have
with-
one though. You gotta still have a checklist.
I do, but it's not 15. It's more realistic.
Okay.
Because it's more about integrity and
It's a different checklist.
It's a different checklist.
I
right?
got it.
Yeah.
Hi, Bree. My little great niece is on here. Hi, Bree. Listen, that checklist.
Yeah, no, I had to get rid of the checklist.
You had to alter it. You had to do a little altering with the checklist.
You finished that checklist. That's what that was. You finished that one.
Yeah.
What you said, Dawn?
Because she finished it. That was done.
She has
We closed the book. We move it to the next
She
story.
said she had the perfect 12 to 14. She even had the 14. She
Not
had
10.
She had
Those are the bonus points. Those were the bonus.
on the bonus.
On the
She
bottom.
said it was the perfect list for God to send this man that was designed for her checklist.
You know that actually happened. I actually was listening to Dr. Tamia Bethea Williams, and she was discussing that. First we have to believe it, see it, then feel it, and actually write down the things that we want. And we all know that that's powerful. Writing things down, visualizing it, but believing it, and really everything's created twice. So it starts with a thought, and then it's a thing. So that perfect relationship, that perfect man, that perfect idea of a vacation or whatever it is that we want, we can actually put into words on a page, write it down, believe it, think it every day.
You gotta have that map out
and embody it.
Yeah.
And it's like the power of attraction. Whatever you think of most, whatever you think about most attracts to you. Those things that you think of most or embody yourself around most. So once you think those positive things, like for you, Nicole, for Pache is setting herself right now. But if she wants something, she could design what she wants.
We all have to do a little.
I wish I could build a man.
You can't build a man.
Yeah, just like you could build a bear, you can build a man, but you got to pray it
Build
up.
a bear, you could build. If you go in the mall and build a bear, you can build a man.
But I think the key thing is we got to realize it's not going to be a perfect, right?
Yes.
So we got to learn how to work right with.
So you have 14 and he only has 6 checks. Is that okay?
Exactly.
It's gotta be a little more than half.
It depends on what those 6 are also.
Exactly.
And you better make sure that list matches up with the God that you're saying God sent it, and make sure it's God with the big G, not God with the little G.
Right.
The little G God is tricky. You know what I'm saying? He'll send, Pookie in them. That's what he said. He ain't gonna come over.
Crystal on Facebook says that you can't build a man. You have to go in with a man with purpose. She said, if a man has a vision and purpose, you can grow with that man. We're ultimately designed to help. Amen.
Yes, amen. I believe you can grow with a man, but I don't believe you can build a man. You
can't
grow with him.
Yeah, you could grow with him. Exactly.
I mean, come on, ladies.
That's what she's saying.
If a man came
it's
along
2
right
different
now,
things.
we not all ready. We might not meet his checklist, his 15 bullets on his checklist. We have to be real about this now. Yes, we're beautiful, we're smart, all the above. But I'm sure, that 2% in us, we gotta be real.
Pache with her 2%.
So you gotta ask
K-I-A.
the question, how
We have
many
to be real. We have
checks
to
you
be
got on
real.
your list before we go any further? I need to find out how many points I need to qualify for.
Crystal says 80-30, LOL.
30. Oh my God. It's
I said, oh my God,
30.
Crystal. Oh my God, this
I have
is
a
so
question
funny.
for Coach Pache.
Okay.
Is it
Coach
okay?
Pache.
Well,
Is
let's
it-
okay.
Is it okay not to want to grow old alone?
Yeah.
Is it
Yeah.
okay?
Okay.
Is it okay?
Yeah, if you're comfortable
Yeah.
within yourself and that's where you are in life, absolutely. But I'm think if you're craving and you need that love, that will hinder you. That will
But she
bother
said
you.
the key words is grow old by yourself. That's a whole nother mindset.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like that's different. Like, is it to me, right? I'm the oldest one on here, so I could kind of relate, right? To grow old by myself, right? I love myself,
Mhm.
but who doesn't want companion? Who doesn't want someone to talk to? Who
Right.
doesn't want someone to just go out on a date?
Right.
Who doesn't want that as a
Mhm.
woman?
Mhm.
I think
That's
That's
exactly what I
you
mean.
want.
Mhm. Absolutely.
Because I hear a lot of women say, "Oh, I'm okay." I don't want to. Oh, she'll get me if I call her out, but
don't use a
I
name,
know,
just
yeah, I know some women that been alone for many, many years, and they okay with it. They content, they everything. But and sometimes I look and they say, "Well, why you want a companion? Why you want a husband? Why?" And I'm like, I don't
But
want to.
didn't God design us?
I said I don't
Aren't
want to
we
grow old
designed?
alone, and then they said there's nothing wrong with wanting to grow old alone, and I think I don't believe
Well,
that.
if
And
you
I'm
want
That's why I said it depends on the individual. Depends on the individual.
If
it
I
does.
can
What
jump
do you
in
want to
there,
say, Dr. Elaine?
there's a difference between being alone and being lonely. And I think that's where we have to distinguish the
Right.
difference.
Mhm.
Because I can be alone and be
Right.
content and I'm happy in being alone, but I'm not lonely. And
Right.
when we're lonely, that's when we get tripped up and we
Yeah.
accept anything
Absolutely.
because that's my area of vulnerability,
Yeah.
because I want anyone to fill that void. When
Right.
I'm alone and I'm comfortable
Right.
Yeah.
in me, then I'm going to be selective in
Right.
who I allow to come into my space. So
Yeah.
I think we need to
Yeah.
distinguish the
And I
difference
think that's what Pache was saying. Yeah. If you're
between alone and
comfortable
lonely.
Right.
with
And
being alone.
I know some women that's been alone for so long that they are comfortable and content with being alone, that when someone does come in, they might let them in, but not in. You know what I mean?
True.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
okay,
That's true.
hi, all right, see you later. I'm good. And that's it.
Because they've become adjusted to their own world. They've built their own world around them because they had to. You have to build your happiness. You have to, because you're alone, then you got to put things in place in your life that brings you the completeness that you have as a single woman, right? And so by doing that, and that's a good point, because if someone comes along that you're interested in, they're interested in you, that's where the compromise has to kick in. Like, what are you willing to compromise, right? And so you can't be so stuck because you've been by yourself, which would be difficult and hard because you've been in this cycle.
That's what I'm saying. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's what I alluded to.
I see that a lot
now. So when it does happen, I'm prepared because I've been this way for so long. It's like, okay, now it's preparation. God, prepare me for when you do send that person.
So let's talk, see what faith, go ahead.
That I'm able to compromise and meet in that middle ground.
Because it will. Go ahead. No, go ahead. I'm gonna let you finish.
I was saying, because it will be a compromise. And that's what I was saying earlier, being by myself for so long. I think we all said it, it's like, God help me, because I'm happy with me. I'm content with me.
I get it.
Like Elaine was saying, no, I'm not. It's a difference of being alone and being lonely.
And lonely, correct.
And I've learned that because in my states when I was younger, in my loneliness, that's what made me revert back to an ex. From
Good
being
point.
lonely.
Good point. That's real talk.
But I can be alone now, but I promise you, I'm not reverting back to not near X.
Yeah,
Because
been there,
I'm
done
taking
that.
care of me. You know,
Yeah.
I know my worth.
But you've done the work.
Done the work,
Right. And
right.
When you do the work, when you do the work on yourself, ladies have to do the work. You have to sit in it, sit in your weaknesses and your strengths. You got to do the work. I'm going to read
And
these
it's
two
not
comments
easy.
and then we're going to go to Dr. Elaine. No, it's not easy.
I just
Keisha
want to say,
says,
it's
God,
not easy. It's not easy sitting in that place.
right.
It's really not. I
Right.
did the crying in the shower.
don't know.
I've done it all.
Yeah.
But look where I'm at now.
Yeah. Look where everybody, all the women on this panel have done the work.
Yeah.
Keisha says,
You
God
don't
doesn't
know
want,
what-
God, wait a minute, the comment went. God doesn't want that for us. However, there is a gift of singleness, meaning that God has created us to be with a help. We created man and female. He wants us to be together. That was the whole point from the beginning of time. So that's why sometimes it feels off when you don't have a partner. It's only natural that it feels off. Like when I'm traveling all these different countries and stuff, and I'm in the airport, this is when I get reality checks, when I start feeling stuff. And I see all the husband and wives together on the plane, right? Or the families on the plane, or the husbands and the wives, and I'm the single, almost out of the whole plane. It's like, oh, you notice that. At least I do, because all my traveling, I travel by myself. And I'm always seeing in the airport while you're waiting at the gate, you see couples, you see they're in love, you see that you desire that companion. You desire someone, you know, to share life with, to share the the trips that I'm going on, to share that. So you desire certain things. Beatrice says it's kind of lonely to growing old by yourself, but it's all right. You got to have a peace of mind. I have to say that. She says before I walked, she said she had to say that before she walked the dog. Okay, Beatrice, thank you. Keisha says, Keisha says women also want to be by themselves because of what they have been through with men. Correct. Crystal says, stay in your femininity because many who've been single for a long time tend to have masculine behavior, which turn off men. That's true.
Oh,
that's
oh,
true. Wow. That's a bomb right there. That is true. She said, yes, indeed. So let's talk. Thank you guys on Facebook for those wonderful comments. Let's get to Dr. Elaine M. Sanders. We've been having a ball. We've been on here for a minute, but we having a good old time, ladies. Oh my goodness. Wait, let's put this comment up on YouTube. Let's bring them into the convo.
Yeah, I think we all think that way when we watch people in the airport or bus terminal or wherever.
Do y'all see the comment? Hold on.
We saw it. It went away. There it is.
What does it say? Because I don't see it.
It says, I thought I was the only one who felt that way while in the airport traveling.
Never the only one. Never the only one.
Right. Yep. I'm telling you, I get that. I get that all the time within my heart and my soul. Again, a silent moment that no one knows I'm going through, right? Those silent moments you don't even verbalize, right? But you feel it so strong in your emotions, right? Yeah, it's real talk. Okay, let's see what Tiffany Mayo says. I thought I was the only one who felt that way. Whew. See, people are agreeing. They're agreeing. They feel it. They feel it. She says, yes, real talk. Been there and done that.
Yeah, that's right, Tiffany.
Yeah. So I want to now get to Dr. Elaine, because we're going to wrap up the show in a few minutes. Let's talk to Dr. Elaine. Let me get the comment down. Is it down? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So Dr. Elaine, Sanders, let's chat a little bit. Let's chat a little bit with you. Your story, I'm going to read part of what I caught because, all of you girls be dropping bombs. Y'all be dropping bombs. Thank you, Crystal. I love you so much. And thank you for supporting. I grew up watching my parents talk, laugh, and never argue. I thought love meant that two soulmates got along perfectly and never had disagreements. You say, so I believed I would also laugh and talk with someone special without any hiccups. However, When I was 26 and married, my mom shook my reality by revealing that indeed they argued, but never in front of us. I didn't know how to navigate arguments with my spouse, Elaine says. I asked her, it says, I didn't know how to navigate arguments with my spouse. I asked her why they did that. Let me share how these other events shaped my life with positivity and negativity. Then Dr. Elaine goes on, and I'm going to read a little bit. She says, as a teenage girl, I saw women giving money to men, and it seemed like they were paying these men to be with them. Even then, it didn't seem right. But what did I know at that age? I'd never even kissed a boy. However, I do remember my mother saying, if you have to pay a man to be with you, then you are in bad shape because you have the goods, you have the goods, you have the goods. I didn't quite understand that statement, but like most girls, I believe everything my mother said. Another time I remember a woman in tears telling my mother, he took my money. She said that he regularly came to her job and she would give him money. Then when she refused, he took it from her. I knew I shouldn't have been in grown folks' business, so I pretended not to listen. But this seriously impacted my view on men and love. I remember saying to myself that I would never let a man take my money. And if he even thought about coming to my job on payday, we would have a serious problem. Talk a little bit about that, Elaine, because here you grew up in a 2-parent household. And so go ahead and talk to us.
Again, I think it goes back to experiences. So in the case, my parents, they were married till death did them part. But I remember having or listening to conversations that honestly, I really had no business listening to. And it shaped my thought of what was going on, because I was a kid and I'm hearing these women in their like 20s talk about what men were doing. And I was like, that doesn't sound right. And of course, I believed everything my mother said. So if she said that's not supposed to happen, that's not supposed to happen.
Right.
But what it made me go into relationships with a barrier that was not mine.
Bomb, drop the mic.
So what happens is you carry other people's stuff. So it was a transferable spirit, if I could really say, because I love that person that was talking to my mom. I looked at them as a sister. So It was like, okay, if this happened to her, I have to make sure this happens to not ever happen to me. And so I put up this guard to protect myself from never having that happen to me. And so I think that was the experience.
But then let's talk about Dr. Elaine before Dr. Elaine became Dr. Elaine. Let's talk about a little bit about this relationship that you talk about. Let's see where I could pick that up at. I think you said, let me jump here. Okay, let me jump here on page 90. You said, our relationship went on for many years as I evolved and grew as a woman. I wanted to marry this man and live happily ever after. Every time I mentioned marriage, he would change the topic and talk about us having a child instead. Here I was in this relationship where I had everything except marriage. As a matter of fact, he had the nerve to say, have a baby and then we can get married. This man thinks I'm stupid, you wrote. I thought to myself, if I have a baby, then we are connected for the rest of our lives. And there is no guarantee that he will marry me. I was so hurt because I thought he was the one. I learned an important lesson. I will never be enough for someone who is not ready for me.
Absolutely. So
talk about that.
In that particular relationship, so all, as probably Theo said, all the boxes was checked. And now it came time that I'm like, okay, I want to get married. My father used to say, why buy the cow if the milk is free? Right. So we were that was embedded, like, no, if you value me, you will put a ring on it. And the person just felt like, but I gave you a new car. I gave you a new purse. I gave you a new whatever the thing was. But it's nice in the beginning, but now you're like, okay, all of this stuff doesn't equate to what I want. I wanted to have a child. And at that time, I wanted to have a child with him. However, it was like, I can't have a baby out of wedlock. You know, I had this thing in my head, like, no, I can't do this. And he wasn't willing to give me what I wanted. And I wasn't willing to trap myself off in being his baby mama.
That's the phrase, the baby mama phrase.
So for me, it was like, did I make the wrong choice? Would he have married me if I had done this? And I guess I thought, this story has played out before. And how many people end up on the other end of what they wanted? So ended up, of course, breaking up. But that was traumatic. It was traumatic because it was probably the first person that I was totally vulnerable to.
Yes. Wow. That must have really, to the core of you, interrupted something on the inside of you that kind of spilled over a little bit later, because you talked, but you're so glad that you made that decision, even though it hurt you. Loving you is hurting me. That's classic. That scenario, like all the rest of you ladies' story, that's classic. You said years later, after moving on and getting married, I would find myself questioning that decision and wondering what my life would have been like if I had the baby. Would we have gotten married? So in other words, if you would have risked it all, you would have risked it and says, okay, he loves me, I love him, but something inside of you, and I believe it was those words of your mother and your father that you would not let go of. Like those phrases, you know, our parents give us these phrases. I know my mother used to tell us, me and my girlfriends in the room, if your man is not with you on the weekend, he's not your man. And then she would say, if your man is not with you on the holidays, he's not your man. Like, what's wrong with y'all? You know, so things like that. Go ahead, Elaine.
I think a part of that was in making that statement in the book. It was like, I'm divorced now, and I had these standards. And yes, he married me, and yes, we had children, but I still ended up getting divorced. So what if I had just stayed over here and played this scenario? You know, like if I could turn back time and see if I played this scenario out. Right. Because if I had to go back, he and I were more friends than I would say myself and my ex-husband. So so when you look back, hindsight, like maybe I should have, you know, but you don't know. But as someone said, I'm grateful because out of even my marriage, I got my children. So I was able to say, okay, I have my children. I appreciate having my children. But it was definitely a life lesson. And I think in this process, when we're hurt, we have to know hurt people hurt people.
Right.
So if I'm not being cognizant of what's going on with me mentally, spiritually, I will damage people in the midst because I'm hurt.
Right. Right. So true. So true.
And I just believe we get up every day when it says loving you is hurting me. I'll love you to death and not love me to life.
Whoa, wait.
Wow. That was deep.
Bomb.
What?
That right there. I'm gonna have to write that down.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Wait. Can you just say that one more time? Just go ahead and just repeat that. But wait, for the people up in the cheap seats, up there in the bleachers, go ahead and repeat it.
Not the cheap seats.
We want everybody to get it.
We would love people. We'll love them to death, but not love ourselves to life. You know, it goes back to that saying on the plane, right? Put the mask over yourself before you assist someone else. And so many times, because there's that empty void, we'll do anything to keep you around when that person is going to leave. Because I'll say this, I don't know a man that likes a woman who is so I'm sorry,
I said, say it.
that is so needy.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I know you need me, then I'll treat you any kind of way because you're not going to go anywhere.
Yep.
But if you are willing to walk away, then it says, wait a minute, hold up. That person is willing to leave the relationship because they see their self-worth and has decided enough is enough. And I am enough. And I think that becomes the greatest part of us as women and loving, whether that's in a, relationship, boyfriend, girlfriend, a sisterhood, whatever that is. You have to love yourself enough to know when enough is enough.
When enough is enough.
I'm not your, I'm not your second choice. I'm not going to be your option. I'm not going to be, you have to, if we're going to, Theodore talked about the list. We need the list for ourselves to say what I'm not going to be. And if I choose to be in a relationship, like that's my choice.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, if I choose to say, okay, we could do this, then that's my choice. But when it no longer suits me, then I don't have to be there. And I have to
if it's abusive, Dr. Elaine, if it's not fruitful, if it's like how we all talked about the settling part, right? And that's what you're saying, right? When the relationship, any relationship is withdrawing and not depositing, then you got to step back and look at that. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, but there's also relationships that deposit in you, but they'll never go where you want them to go.
Oh, well, yeah.
So there are people, because usually we don't stay in a relationship normally because someone's always taking. People are dropping things in us to help us grow and develop, but they're not giving us that next level of what we feel we deserve. And I'm not talking about the house on the hill or the car. That's not what I'm talking about. Can you feed my spirit?
Can you feed my spirit?
Can you feed my soul realm? Can you speak to my heart? Can you speak to my mind? Forget about my body, right? That's a bonus for you, right? But can you speak to the inner parts of me that when you see me, you hear me? Right? Not just, oh, look, you look great. Did you hear me?
Did you hear me?
Do I add value to you? And do you see my value?
Yeah.
I think many times as women, we'll accomplish all these things on the outside because we want to say, okay, I'm here. I've leveled up. But the little girl inside of us is still screaming for, see me, see me, see me.
See me.
Especially women of color, because we've been ignored in so many other spaces.
It's true. That's good. That's real good.
I want to speak to that because you just killed it, because in my chapter I wrote about the relationship that I'm still in, and you're absolutely right when it comes to that, because they're dropping enough things. And in it I wrote this. I said, as time passed, my guy and I continued to grow and take care of each other. We both worked hard because we liked having nice things, and we learned that there was more to life than hanging with people just to be part of the gang. Finally, growth came, but with growth comes pain. And then it was a pretext of a situation. You are ill. I'm here for you. We can make it work, but we're no longer intimate. Things will get better. But that was a lie. And then I said, my children are all grown and gone, but the two of us are bound together by property, pets, dead passion, and a promise. And there's no mental encouragement, no smiles, no walks and thoughts together. What kind of life is this? I'm a loving, sensitive, God-loving, God-fearing Christian soldier, devoted parent, and friend, have resonated myself to desolation. And I'm absorbed in my work and being the best parent that I could be in person possible, prompting people to be encouraged to continue, reach their goals, and never give up and have faith in God. But I also wrote in here that I'm lonelier than I've ever been in my life. And he and I just had a discussion. We were debating. And, I said, I've been alone for the last 13 years. He's like, what do you mean you've been alone? I'm right here. No, I've been alone. Lonely.
Yeah.
I've been here. You've been here, but
You've been lonely.
Together. Yeah.
Right.
But see, I'm not lonely because I got God and I'm very busy all the time. I keep myself
But
doing
you're talking
stuff
about in the natural. But we're talking about in the natural.
Right.
When you have a physical person in your space and you still feel how you're saying you are alone, right? It's just he's taking up space. But we'll talk more about that in our next chapter and our next. I mean, that's really good. We've had such a wonderful time tonight. It has been absolutely awesome. Facebook, Shell Bell, thank you for being here. Keisha, after Dr. Elaine spoke, she said, now that's real intimacy. My sister from another mother, Jackie Abdul from North Carolina, is on the line. Listen, we had such an incredible time. They're sending you hearts. We got comments. I think one of your friends, and I want you, Dr. Elaine and Coach Pache, to tell everyone about the next book and what's going on. Here's a book, Tamika. I don't know which one of you know this young lady. She says a good book. Who said me? You, doctor? Yes. Good book. Reference, Whatever Happened to Daddy's Little Girl, The Impact of Fatherlessness on Black Women. Jonetta Rose Barra. She said it's so good. She said she is been trying to finish reading it. Tamika says she's been trying to finish reading it. So that's a book I guess we could all kind of tap into. Whatever Happened to Daddy's Little Girl. Those of you on Facebook, you see this comment, The Impact of Fatherlessness on Black Women. And the author is Jonetta Rose Barris, right? And so I want to say thank you so much for all of you that are here tonight, all of you on Facebook and on YouTube. I'm going to throw up a quick commercial. I'm not going to put it full screen. I'm just going to throw it up. I need to put this promo up. Let me move this banner first, and then we'll be out of here in 1 second. We'll be out of here. I'm so glad that Sheila, please send me the name of that book. Okay. Pache, can you write that down if you can take note? Because once we come off of here, I won't see the comment.
Can't see mine.
Sorry.
I can't.
Oh, you could just screenshot it.
Screenshot it.
I'll do it
in the comments.
Okay, screenshot it for me. Thank you so much. All of you have been wonderful. I'm going to play this quick. Be right back. That is a promo, my promo. Some of you know that I'm a professional certified Christian counselor. And so I have been counseling women and doing all, I don't want to talk long about it, but that's a new promo. If you know someone who needs counseling, they can reach out. Let me play it one more time so you can just get the note. So listen, guys, Dr. Elaine and Coach Pache, bravo to you. Let's give them a bravo for all that they do, empowering women and allowing women to bring their stories to life in books. They have 6 books, if I'm not mistaken, that's already done. And number 7 is in the works as we speak. I want to bow down so that you two can give information about yourself, as well as whatever you want to say or don't want to say. I know it's late, but please leave the audience with some information, how to reach you and how to get in touch with you if they want to become an author. Please first open up with talking about the next book that's coming down the pipe.
I guess I'll talk about the next book, Pache, and you can do the information. So the next book that's coming down the pipe is called Boss Built, teaching a guide for women who are in leadership to help navigate, whether it's being women of color, being the first maybe CEO, the first executive director, the first director, whatever that is, to help you navigate those leadership opportunities, to see the advantages, just to help you grow in that area. So that is the next book that will be coming out, Boss Built.
Boss Built. All right. Pache.
Oh, okay. Also, you don't have to do a collaboration if you're thinking about doing a book on your own. We also do that as well. We can guide you in that area. For more information on Harlem Girls Inc., it's Harlem Girls, the number 4, at gmail.com. I'll say that again, Harlem Girls, the number 4, at gmail.com. And our website is Harlem Girls, the number 4, ever.com.
All right. That's awesome. Hold tight. And then we're going to do the outro. Just hold
and all the books are listed on.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said, Pache. What was you saying?
No, I was just saying all the books are on the website. So if you like the discussion, you want to hear more about our stories, Loving You is Hurting Me, it's available on Harlem Girls, the number 4, ever.com.
As well as all the other wonderful books that you have with the other authors. So ladies, thank you so much. Thank you so very much for being on tonight. I love you guys. I'm sure as I'm looking, Crystal says dope show. People are putting fire up, hand claps, love it. Ow, hey, they're doing all kind of stuff over here on Facebook, and they love the conversation. I tell you, this is wonderful. Thank you, Keisha, Harlem Girls, for yes, forever. You got to put the forever on there, Keisha. She's putting it up. She's helping out a little bit, and all the hearts and everything. So this is wonderful. You know, I'm going to drag you ladies back here again soon so that we could have another wonderful chat. Thank you for empowering women. Thank you for empowering yourselves. Thank you for loving yourself, for turning the corner, knowing that when nothing changes, nothing changes. I am so proud of you. I know I sound like an old mama, but I could say that because I'm older than all of you. So I can say it. I got the right to say it. And so I'm just so proud. Keep doing what you're doing, you know, and the sky's the limit, Nicole. God's got you, and everything you're looking for, that guy you're looking for is looking for you. But I want you to put yourself first. I want you to love Nick. I want you to love yourself a little bit more. I'm gonna be rooting for you. I'm gonna be texting you. I'm gonna say, what you doing, girl? What you doing? And so all of you stay well. Thank you so much once again. Let's do an outro and say good night to all of the people, wonderful ladies. Say good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.
Stay right there, ladies. Don't move.